Hello and welcome to the October 16th edition of the Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 29 of the series. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight, Mykkal and I will once again bring you the best discussion of the world of modern motorsports. Let's start in the world of NHRA, shall we? The NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series enjoyed the most watched broadcast in NHRA history as the Texas NHRA Fall Nationals drew 2.065 million viewers on Fox for Sunday's eliminations coverage from the Texas Motorplex. Airing as the fourth of six races in the countdown to championship playoffs, NHRA scored its most viewed telecast on record, also reaching an impressive peak audience of 3.631 million viewers for the event.
This follows an impressive Fox viewership for the prestigious 71st Annual Cornwell Quality Tools NHRA U.S. Nationals, which drew 1.036 million viewers and was the most viewed live U.S. Nationals telecast in NHRA history. Sunday's broadcast from Texas Motorplex to close out the stampede of speed was also the first time a single NHRA broadcast drew more than 2 million viewers. As part of Sunday's action on Fox, fans enjoyed a thrilling day of eliminations during the critical playoff race, with Doug Coletta, Top Fuel, Austin Prock, Funny Car, Dallas Glenn, Pro Stock, and Richard Gadsden, Pro Stock Motorcycle, all claiming victories at the main event of the massive stampede of speed.
The final two races of the 2025 season in the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series will be broadcast on FS1, including eliminations coverage starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, November 2nd, for the Dodge NHRA Nevada Nationals, powered by Direct Connection, and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, November 16th, for the In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals in Pomona. For more information about the NHRA, please visit NHRA.com. There's also additional NHRA news, which I didn't have a chance to get into the script here today. The NHRA will be putting out the first officially licensed video game, which leads us into our next segment, where we talk a little bit more about the video game industry, iRacing, and that sort of thing. iRacing Studios and NASCAR are proud to announce that NASCAR 25, the foundation of their new console gaming franchise, is now available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XJS. Suit up as your favorite NASCAR drivers and burn rubber on the iconic speedways with a massive roster of stars like William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and more. Race to win a competitive online multiplayer and experience a robust career mode with guidance from legendary Dale Earnhardt Jr., featuring all four premier and NASCAR series, the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Craftsman Truck Series, and appearing among the NASCAR series in a standalone title for the first time, the ARCA Menards Series.
NASCAR 25 is the first standalone NASCAR console title produced by iRacing, the developers behind the most authentic motorsport racing simulation in the world. iRacing has brought their decades of racing expertise, including developers who worked on fan-favorite NASCAR games like NASCAR Racing 2003, NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, and the NASCAR Thunder Series to deliver the ultimate NASCAR video game experience. Players can purchase NASCAR 25 Standard Edition, $59.99 is how much it is today, on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, I think that's S. The Gold Edition, which is $79.99, features the full base game and the Season Pass, which includes a variety of in-game currency and bonuses, as well as 3 DLC packs offering over 230 paint schemes and fire suits. Standard Edition owners can grab the Season Pass separately for $24.99.
Race for Glory in NASCAR 25, featuring all four premier NASCAR series, the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Craftsman Truck Series, and ARCA Menards Series, along with real drivers from each. All four series feature extensively in career mode, where you can customize your own driver and vehicles, manage contracts, money, facility, and staff, and make strategic choices on and off the track that play a pivotal role in your journey to becoming a NASCAR Cup Series champion. The four series are playable in other gameplay modes, such as quick races, seasons, and online multiplayer for up to 40 players. The PC version of NASCAR 25 releases on Steam on November 11th and is available to wishlist now. Get the latest news and updates from NASCAR 25 on the game's official website, NASCAR25.com, and social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For more information on NASCAR 25 and other iRacing products, visit iRacing.com.
iRacing, IndyCar, and Thrustmaster are pleased to announce the return of the IndyCar Thrustmaster iRacing Pro Series for the 2025-2026 season. Once again, the world's top virtual IndyCar drivers will compete for a $50,000 prize pool on a mix of top IndyCar ovals, road courses, and street circuits. The return of the championship will be paired with an all-new qualifying series format that features the Dallara IL-15 used in the real-world Indy NXT by Firestone, IndyCar's development series. The return of the IndyCar Thrustmaster iRacing Pro Series is the latest major development in the partnership between iRacing and IndyCar. Earlier this year, the two sides confirmed that iRacing Studios will produce a dedicated IndyCar game in 2026 on console and PC. IndyCar relevant releases on iRacing this year have included Portland International Raceway in March and the Dallara IL-15 in September. More content will be produced in time for next year's IndyCar title.
The inaugural IndyCar iRacing Pro Series ran in the fall of 2024, with many of the top tracks in the real-world NTT IndyCar Series represented. Diogo Pinto claimed the championship after a consistent season, including a win at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. The IndyCar Thrustmaster iRacing qualifying series will kick off later this October, when the IndyCar Thrustmaster iRacing Pro Series will begin in January 2026. Pro Series races will be broadcast live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays via iRacing social channels and the NTT IndyCar Series YouTube channel and website. More information can be available on both series. They'll be released in the coming weeks. For more information on iRacing and for special offers, visit iRacing.com. Now, you mentioned you had just purchased the NASCAR 25 game, so do you have any insight onto it yet?
Not yet. We did purchase it. It was like 3 a.m, and we couldn't decide whether we wanted the standard one or I think it's called gold that we just talked about. I'm not quite sure, but we did go with the like gold one or whatever it's called. But we haven't got a chance to play it yet. I did check it out. I went through and I checked it out a little bit. It is pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I can't remember which is the last NASCAR game that they produced, but I feel like this might be kind of one of the, I'm not going to say better ones, but it just looks really cool. And yeah, so we bought it. And like I said, I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but it looks cool. And, I think they did a good job. I think they seem to have done a pretty good job. I actually just learned quite a lot about it from the show just now. So, but I will let you know when we try it out. And yeah, so, but I was a little bit surprised that, I don't know, I guess I don't know too much about games, but that they don't like come out all at once. Like it came out on the console, and then I guess in a month or something like that, it's going to come out on PC. So if you're a PCer, Adam, you might think about getting it for the PC.
You never know. Yeah. I actually think the NHRA one might be interesting. I didn't read much about that. I just saw it came through a few minutes ago. But that'll be that could be interesting too. And I think that they're definitely doing a lot of cool things with iRacing and with the NASCAR and IndyCar and now the NHRA games too. So it's an interesting time to be a PC gamer or a gamer all around. And I think that they're trying to make it a little bit more interactive to give you more of a chance of basically seeing behind the scenes of how the sports run. So it can be neat, and hopefully it's a pretty good experience.
And the graphics. I don't know how I forgot to mention the graphics, but you can tell the graphics have come a long way from like, and that's kind of obvious, like I'm, Captain Obvious over here, but the graphics look really neat. So I don't know, it just looks like a pretty well-rounded game. So I think it'll be pretty fun.
That'll be cool. NASCAR, America's #1 motorsport, is teaming up with iconic global streetwear brand Antisocial Social Club for the first time to launch a limited release capsule collection. The collaboration champions NASCAR's and antisocial social club's bold and distinctive styles, creating a unique crossover between the racetrack and fashion. It dropped at 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 11th, during the NASCAR playoff weekend at Las Vegas. The NASCAR X Antisocial Social Club collection is available for purchase online. The release features hoodies, t-shirts, jackets, hats, helmets, and other NASCAR-inspired pieces that channel the electrifying energy of motorsports while showcasing Antisocial Social Club's creative identity. In addition, the Antisocial Social Club and NASCAR will be showcasing a car with custom-designed livery. They did that at Las Vegas Motor Speedway last weekend. I didn't see it, but I have been neat looking.
Since its inception in 2014, the ASSC became an immediately recognizable pop culture symbol driven by a passionate community. After an experimental run of 12 hoodies introduced its logo to After an experimental run of 12 hoodies introduced its logo to the world, I'll say that 10 times fast. Antisocial Social Club has subsequently grown into a global business of scale. To shop the collection, visit NASCARshop.com and www.antisocialsocialclub.com.
Are you a member of the Antisocial Social Club?
I feel like I should be. I feel like I should be. I might be now. I might have to go. I didn't even know there was like an antisocial social club. So I would be
either.
interested.
Not until I saw this earlier today. But that's definitely something. It sounds like there's a lot of interesting fashion stuff going on. I had the opportunity to test out some of the Formula One fashion things about a couple of years ago, as well as the fashion collection that Bubba Wallace had with in partnership with that famous jacket company out of Portland. I don't remember the name right now, but so that doesn't help very much. But anyway, but they do have some really cool stuff there. So I know NASCAR's been working on some interesting partnerships too, and we'll see how it goes. I know they're trying to make it a more of a social community type thing, and they're trying to expand their reach not only through racing but through all different sorts of things. They're trying to be like the Formula One of the United States. I think that's kind of their whole promo thing right now. They're hoping to try and increase not only the visibility of the brand, but the visibility of the drivers, so you can actually see, if you see the driver in public, you know who it is. And as we've said on this program before, you see a lot of the drivers out there now, you wouldn't know who the heck they were. There's a few you would, but most of them you wouldn't. So they're working as hard as they can, trying to make it better for themselves and better for the sport in general. And I wish them luck with that.
What about that clothing company many, many moons ago? But I believe it was shirts that they sent you. Are they still like up and successful? I can't remember what they were called either, so not helpful. But
it is, but I think I remember a little bit. Yeah, I think that was a golf company that was doing that, and that's kind of a different world too. Part of that was related to the sponsorship they had with Catherine Legg at the time, I think. So that's something. But I know that sponsorship didn't last very long because her NASCAR career has been up and down a lot. I know she's trying more now, but they always try something and try to get you more interested in the series and think about the connections between the cars and the clothes and all that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, might be something to check out.
There you go. AntisocialSocialClub.com. There you go. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact us to get your spot on the show. We'd love to hear from you because we haven't had anybody regularly for a little while, but so we'd love to talk to any of you guys. After all, you deserve your 50 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you. Our next program is slated right now for the end of the month, a couple of weeks, and then we'll be having pretty much a normal schedule for November, with the exception of maybe a week or two because of the holiday there. So, but if you're interested, please give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. The easiest way is to go to either Facebook, go to facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder, or go to Thursday Night Thunder podcast.podbean.com. Both of those you can find information on how to contact us and get your own spot on the show. Ford Motor Company is auctioning off one of the most revered and coveted sports cars in its history, the 2006 Ford GT Heritage Edition Production Number 3. lot number 1026, with no reserve during the Scottsdale Fall Auction, which takes place this weekend, started yesterday, in fact, at Westworld of Scottsdale. 100% of the hammer price of the Heritage liveried mid-engine car, which will cross the auction block approximately 4 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, October 18th, will be dedicated to the restoration and maintenance of vehicles in the Ford Heritage fleet. The limited edition Ford GT is powered by a supercharged V8, producing 550 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque, paired with 6-speed manual transmission. When launched, various outlets reported that the Ford GT went 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and achieved 111.2 second quarter mile, while having a top speed of over 200 miles per hour.
Only 4,038 Ford GTs were produced between 2005 and 2006. These limited production numbers made it a highly sought-after vehicle. For the iconic supercar's final send-off, Ford developed the Heritage package in Epic Orange and Heritage Blue for the 2006 model year. The Heritage paint livery remembers the JW Automotive/American Gulf oil-sponsored Le Mans winning Ford GT racer. The $13,000 option appeared on just 343 cars because of the time and effort it took to paint the intricate design and multiple colors on the car. While the 4 white roundels on the vehicle were painted, the Heritage package came with a box of black vinyl numbers 0 to 9 that were shipped with the car, allowing customers to apply the number of their choice. The unique paint scheme of the Heritage package, one of the most memorable looks in Ford racing history, makes it the most desirable and sought-after Ford GT version today.
Ford GT production number 3 stands as the earliest Heritage edition to ever be released to the public. The 2006 model year was wholly owned and used by Ford Motor Company. Finished in the Heritage livery, it pays tribute to Ford's endurance racing legacy. Included with the sale is a certificate of authenticity and a scanned build book showing the step-by-step construction of the car. The story of Ford begins in a garage with Henry Ford's creation of the quadricycle at his home in 1896. Now, 129 years later, Ford is celebrating that legacy with its Heritage fleet in Dearborn.
The Ford Heritage Collection documents the history of the company, its employees, key innovations, design breakthroughs, racing milestones, and its role in popular culture. It also serves as an inspiration at Ford when creating the next generation of vehicles.
So it should be a good weekend there at Barrett-Jackson. I did receive more information about that. I actually received an invitation to go out to Scottsdale, but I do have other things going on, and I can't just pick up and head out to Scottsdale anytime I feel like it. But kind of funny. We've talked about Scottsdale a few times, but that's all the different thing too. Should be an interesting weekend out there. I'd love to head up to Westworld at some point to see the Barrett-Jackson auction. That's where the Barrett-Jackson's got start. That's where they have their biggest weekends. So it's kind of cool, and it should be a really good weekend there. I don't know if I'll get to see any of that. I do have a really busy weekend planned. I've got lots of stuff going on, but should be a really good time, and hopefully they make a lot of money and they sell a lot of great cars, and some people get some good deals. I know today was probably the best deal of the weekend, as the first day normally is, but I think tomorrow will probably be good for some people, and if you're interested in the big name things, check it out this weekend.
Barrett-Jackson has a lot of auction weekends, don't they?
I think they have 6 now, so they have enough.
Wow.
Yeah, and they do pretty well. Like I said, Westworld's the biggest one. Palm Beach has been fairly big the past several years, and they've got the other ones across the country too. So they've got Las Vegas now. I think they have one in Anaheim. So they get around. New York.
Where do they? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where do they get the cars for these auctions? Are some of them kind of people that want to auction off their own kind of personal, really nice cars?
That's how it goes. Yeah, all of them are consigned. They're all the people get a percentage. Barrett-Jackson gets a very decent percentage, plus they get a premium. So, but they're all consigned. They're all people have an opportunity to go to barrettjackson.com. I think there's a hyphen in there, barrett-jackson.com, and you can go ahead and list your car there. They have of course, they have quality things. Has to be a certain age. Has to have certain things. Has to be a certain value. But if you're interested, you can go ahead and check that out. Uh, I've never actually checked out the buyers thing. I checked out the sellers thing. I've checked out the buyers thing a couple times, but I've never gone the whole distance because it does cost money to be a bidder there, and they run like a background check and they have to do all the different things, make sure you can actually afford to sit there and bid on the most expensive car in the lot. So kind of interesting idea.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you could pick,
So it's
oops, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. If I could pick any car, I don't know. I'd like the Ford GT. I told my wife that the other day. It's a there used to be a few of those around town with the Ford estate there in Palm Beach. I think they had two or three that they drive around. That Mr. Ford there. I think it's Edsel actually lives there with his mother. So that's a really neat looking car.
Yeah.
What would be your ultimate car there? Your ultimate supercar, if you will.
You know, I don't know. I am a Mustang fan, and I am a Ford fan, and I don't know if this really counts. Maybe, but if I had the opportunity to have kind of any kind of supercar, I think it would be like the Acura NSX. And I know that's a
Oh
far
yeah.
cry from a Ford, and so I feel kind of silly even saying that when we're talking about these Fords, but those are really cool too. Have you seen
Mhm.
any of those like types of cars?
Yes, but not lately. But there are a couple around still. I know they did bring back the NSX a couple of years ago, and there were a couple driving around here, but not very many. Honestly, you see more Bugattis on the road here than you see an Acura NSX there. But there's Veyrons. There's plenty of Veyrons. Uh, so Palm Beach is an interesting landscape for cars, and sometimes people want to go and they just want to be seen. Um, the best one, the most common one of those used to be a couple of years ago. Everybody had the Bentley Continentals. Those are neat cars too, but they're just tanks. And even though they go really fast, I wouldn't want to drive a 6,000 pound car down the road. I think their gas mileage is really bad. So they're neat looking cars, but they're tanks. They're 6,000 pounds. They're all steel, and you wouldn't have any problem if you had an accident in it because you wouldn't. The car wouldn't go anywhere. But it's definitely a quite the machine there.
It's a boat.
It is, yeah, and it's serious too. Um, quite a thing. Well, we're getting into Halloween season, which is why we haven't had the show much this month. I did have the chance to head out to two different haunted attractions so far this year. We've gone out to uh, start out at Fright Nights, which had their opening night last week, Thursday night, which is why we didn't have last week's show. But it was a really good event there Thursday. If you are in the Palm Beaches or anywhere in South Florida, really, heck, if you're in Central Florida, come down. There were a bunch of people from Orlando there on Thursday. But it's a really good event. There's four haunted houses, all first class, very well decorated. The actors are amazing people. They put on a heck of a show, especially if you know who they are. Then it gets really cool. Um, but even if you don't, they try really hard, and you'll want to get in touch with these people. They're awesome. They know what they're doing. They're into their characters. The characters have great backstories. If you're interested in something like that, you can check it out on my blog page at Royal Plum's Fantastic Finds .wordpress.com. You look for Faces Behind the Fear. That's the keyword, the search thing in the corner. Look for that, and you'll find profiles on a bunch of different scare actors, not only from Fright Nights, but from Enigma Haunt, from Nightmare Village, and even some from things like Scream and Stream, which was a pandemic era drive-through haunt, which was kind of cool. So be sure to check that out. I'm also working on a few different articles about that. I've done reviews of Fright Nights. I also went to Nightmare Village, which is in Fort Lauderdale at the Stream Action Park. Uh, if you're looking for one as opposed to the other, my advice is Extreme Action Park. The Nightmare Village might be the one you choose, simply because of the fact that Nightmare Village is in air conditioning, and it's still hot here at night. So Nightmare Village is entirely air conditioned. Plus, they have the other activities of the Extreme Action Park, which includes roller skating, go karts. There's a bounce house thing there, and there's a ton of video games and those sort of things. So there's even bowling. There's a bowling alley there. So if you're looking for other stuff in addition to haunts, head out to the Extreme Action Park there for Nightmare Village. That is a little bit cheaper of an experience as well. It's only $30 per person, as opposed to the one for Fright Nights, which I believe starts at $50 a person now. And Fright Nights is definitely not air conditioned. It's a fairgrounds. Um, but if you're looking for show quality, it's kind of a wash. But I think Fright Nights might have a little bit better show quality, just because they have a little bit higher budget. But the Nightmare Village is really darn close. And their budget may not be quite as high, but they have a heck of a lot of actors there. A lot of those guys got to start with Enigma Haunt, which is awesome. You can tell that if you look at the design as well, compared to Enigma from a few years ago, where it's all one big walkthrough thing. You have 3 different houses. They're all one big walkthrough, as opposed to having the 4 individual ones like they have at Fright Nights. So, wherever you go, just plan to have fun. Be careful. Both facilities have a very stringent security profile, so you're safe there. It's good to head out. It's a nice place to go. No matter where you go, just enjoy yourself. It's really fun. My next Halloween adventure, of course, will be on the West Coast, heading out to the San Diego area. Won't be doing any haunted houses, I don't believe, unless we're doing technically a real haunted house. We're going to be going to the Whaley House, which is named number 1 as the most haunted house in America. I watched a few videos about that. That looks kind of cool, but we're doing a daytime haunt, so I don't know how spooky it's going to be during the day. Although sometimes I think old houses during the day are a little bit spookier than old houses at night. So that'd be cool. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing the Ghost and Gravestones tour, which is also in San Diego. And so that should be interesting. Might be doing another haunted thing there, but I don't think so. I haven't heard back, and so possibility, but I'll let you guys know, and I'll also be reviewing them on Football Plum's Fantastic Finds. Are you doing anything special for Halloween? You've got that. You have a few haunted houses around there, plus you got the big thing there at the in Idaho, the Scary Woods, what they call it, or whatever, for this time of year. So
Yeah, it is Scary Wood. I kind of mentioned that I would maybe like to try to go to Scary Wood this year, but it's just really cold and I don't really like to be cold. So I'm kind of a baby about that. But I did learn that we actually have a haunted car wash that you can go through. I don't know if it really washes your car. I would assume so. I don't know. But I kind of thought that might be cool because one of the things that kind of makes haunted houses and stuff too much for me is, being like up close and personal to the creepy people. So I think I could do a haunted car wash. I think I could go through a haunted car wash and be fine. So I would like to check that out. I think the haunted car wash would be pretty dang cool. The racetrack in Idaho last weekend held a Halloween race. I didn't go, but my son did, and my husband and my nephew did. And they had 12 classes racing that night. Unfortunately, they didn't get all the racing in because it started to rain, but they had a trunk or treat, and they told everyone to wear your costumes, and there wasn't an entrance fee. All you had to bring was like a can of food or something for like a little food drive, which I thought was really cool. And so they did go to that. It looked really neat. They sent me a couple videos before it got rained out, and there was a lot of cars. So it looked like a really cool event, and just a little bit that they got to see, I know they really enjoyed it. And I seen, like I said, a couple of videos, and it looked like some pretty good racing. So there are a couple things going on over here. So yeah,
that's good. The haunted car wash looks interesting. They had a couple of those down here. I think I haven't seen anything about it this year, but I know last year they had it, and it was like a 2-hour wait to get your car washed to go through it. So We looked at it. We didn't end up waiting in line for 2 hours to have the truck washed though. But it does make a pretty cool thing, and I think that you would be able to handle the haunted guys telling you your name and whispering in your ears and grabbing hold of your hair. You're no fun.
Oh gosh. No. 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 I'm starting to get like anxiety just thinking about it.
Mhm. And that's the
So
fun part of
no.
knowing some of these guys for more than 10 years. They they know what you can handle, and they use you as an example of what could happen if you're not careful in line. So
How come I know you've done like some behind the scenes haunted house stuff, but
mhm.
you've never, I mean, ever, I guess, you've never participated, like been like a scary person in a haunted house?
No, I've thought about it, but there's a lot of time involved in that, and it's basically it's all the time right now. I keep saying I might do it, and I'm still thinking of it, but it won't be. It's a lot of time involved. There's a lot of different factors, and basically it's just the time. It's a lot of time commitment because it's a part time job, but it's a lot of work. You have to be there 4 nights a week, uh, and there's a lot of stuff involved. It's just it could be really awesome, but it's a huge time commitment.
True, I could see that. There's actually a haunted establishment over here. It's like a haunted house type of thing, but they make you go to like an acting school for like a
Yep.
week
Mm-hmm.
before you can be scary, and it's like, wow, they put some time into that stuff. It's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen the videos of that. The ones that from Fright Nights where they do the acting workshops, and the guy his name is Jonathan Seth Glickman. He goes by Jonathan Seth. That's his screen name. His character name is Sammy Days. Plus, he has a guy named Benji. Who's crazy, but he runs a haunted thing for them. Plus, he does some teaching at like the Netherworld and what's it there's a big conference. Um, I think it's in St. Louis where they do haunted things in the middle of the year. He teaches stuff there too, so he's really good, and he enjoys what he does. He's an attorney by day, and he's a crazy, insane guy who's got run over by a car and collects body parts at night. So,
Wow, he's living both worlds.
mm-hmm. So, there's a if you listen to talk to some of these guys, they're really cool what they do. They have one thing during the day and then another thing at night. Some of them are really close. There's a lot of people involved in the arts who do that, artists and musicians who are also actors and stuff. But there's also people who do other things. The one guy there, the attorney, and then another one is an aircraft mechanic. Um,
Oh
that's the
wow.
guy who that's the guy who whispered my ear and grabbed hold of my hair and everything else. Uh, a lot of interesting people there, and they do a great job. They not only work a lot of the big name people here, not only work at Fright Nights, but they also do work at at Nightmare Village. And they do work at other haunted things around here too. So there's a little community of people, and they're really dedicated. They do really fun things.
You know, you're into creepy stuff. One day you should come to Washington, and I learned supposedly, you'll never catch me by this black hole, but in Ellensburg, so that's about like an hour from me,
Mm-hmm.
but there's supposedly a big black like hole on some large amount of acres. I can't remember how many acres. And they claim that at night you can see like beams and stuff coming out of this big black hole. But what
Mm-hmm.
really makes this creepy is someone claims that you could throw like broken things in there, and there's no bottom to this this big black hole. Like
Mhm.
you can throw a bunch of stuff in there and there's no bottom to the hole. But what really creeps me out is supposedly you could throw like a deceased animal in there and the animal will like be alive.
Mm.
I don't know, it's just weird. Supposedly that I'm not gonna say it comes out alive because I don't know if you see the animal come back out or not, but someone said that they threw their deceased animal in there and then the animal was like alive and well like the next day. So I don't know, just kind of weird. You'll never
Yeah.
catch me by it, but you're into creepy stuff.
Yeah. That sounds interesting. I'll have to look that up. That's kind of cool. But I think that the Halloween's kind of interesting. There's lots of spooky stuff around. We watched the special on was it on Fail Army yesterday. They had their Shrieks and Freaks show on, and they had a lot of really cheesy uh, gags and stuff. Then they also had the haunted videos, which were some of those were really insane, where the door would open and things would move around and all that. So that's a little freaky. So that's a little too freaky for me at times. But I've seen my share of freaky stuff. I've seen chairs that move on their own. Right after my uncle died in the Boston area, his rocking chair would start rocking back and forth, and there was nobody in the room. Um, in high school, I was in a moving the AV cart thing where you used to have the TV and the VCR attached to it, and you move it from classroom to classroom. I did that one time and moved it to a room where the door was locked, and I turned around and all of a sudden the door's open, it flies open, and I walked in, took the thing off, and ran out the door. So um, lots of weird stuff like that. So you never know. There's definitely a time of year when things like that are more prevalent, and I'm kind of hoping we see something spooky in San Diego for the Ghosts and Gravestones tour, as well as the Whaley House Museum. But it's all it all depends on what you see, what you're ready to see, and whether the spirits are happy enough to see you too. So, in some cases they do things that are really fake and hokey and all that, and the things that are that stick with you are the things that couldn't be faked and definitely aren't that hokey. So it's a definitely a weird thing to look out for this time of year, especially. But those sort of things happen all year, and this is only the time when they decide to discuss them in public. So it's that's something. To move a little bit less spooky, at Petit Le Mans this past weekend, they did have a few Halloween themed cars. I don't know if you were able to see them, but they did look really cool. They had the Rexy and Spike both had like skeleton designs on them with the bones and everything else. They're really awesome looking cars, and there were a few other pretty cool cars there at Petit Le Mans this past weekend. I didn't see much of it, but I saw those cars, and that looked really neat. So racing season is starting to wrap up. Of course, Petit Le Mans was the last race of the IMSA series for this year. They don't pick up again until January in Daytona. So looking forward to that. Um, should be really neat. And there are a lot of series that have started to put out their 2026 schedules. The ones that weren't formalized before have now been formalized. IndyCar put out a couple different schedules the other day, both for IndyCar and Indy Next Series. Um, Moto America put out their schedule as well. I posted both of those, so you can check those out. As SVRA also put out their schedule, which is the company that does the vintage racing as well as the Trans Am series. I posted that as well on the motorsports news and views page, so be sure to check those out. So racing season's wrapping up. People getting ready for next year. Looks like it'll be a good year of racing next year, although there are some changes, of course. And the big change might be with some of the teams from NASCAR. We've been covering a little bit about the lawsuit there with between 2311 and Front Row and NASCAR. That is going to be quite the thing when that starts to wrap up. I believe it's not until next month is the next hearing, but the seems like the teams are planning for the worst. NASCAR is hoping that the teams are going to lose, but I don't think whoever wins or loses, there aren't any winners in it because it's going to be a bad deal for the sport if NASCAR wins, and if NASCAR loses, it won't be a good thing either because there'll be a lot of changes, and some of those name changes might not be the best for the sport and for the teams. So hopefully they're able to work something out. I know they keep trying to work out an arrangement, but it's going to go to court. It's going to go all the way through, and we'll see how it goes in the off season.
When do you think the NASCAR court stuff will wrap up? 2027 probably?
No, I think it might be early 2027, but I hope it'll. I hope they are able to work something out before the end of this year. It really depends on how it works out. So it could be early 2027, could be early 2026. It might not. It might drag on through next year. But I'm hoping that it wraps up before the end of this year, and at least that gives them time. Won't give much time, but it'll give them time to work out something before the beginning of next season. So they don't want to have to worry about the dragging out in court into another season. Not good for any of the teams. Not good for NASCAR. Not good for anything.
True. Maybe you should be their voice of reason.
I don't think they have any voice of reason. Not on either side. I think that they all have a point to make, and they're trying to make it. Them, no matter how they make it, it's going to. Like I said, it's not going to be good. But the best thing would be if it just dropped now. That's not going to happen. If the teams win, it could be good in the short term, but NASCAR is going to fight it even if the teams win. If NASCAR wins, the teams aren't going to be happy, and no matter what the other teams are saying, if NASCAR defeats the two of the relatively successful teams, one of them really successful with the last champion from last year, and the other one a stalwart in the NASCAR ranks that has several wins, especially lately, but is just always there. If NASCAR wins against them, it doesn't set a good precedent for their dealing with the team. So, like I said, it's not a good thing either way.
No.
So, but it's bound to happen, and it's good. In a way, it's good that the people like 2311 and the front row pushed NASCAR to at least look at itself a little bit. I wish there was more support. I wish it had been a unanimous idea, which there was rumblings that it might be, but in the end, NASCAR pushed the charter system basically down the throats of a lot of the teams, and so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Is this the first time NASCAR's really had really been in the judicial spotlight?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's been any other times. IndyCar had similar issues in the past, as did, of course, IMSA with the split there between IMSA and the Grand Am series at the time. So it's not an uncommon thing for the motorsports to go through things. Even Formula One now has some legal issues. If you look at in IndyCar now, the main issue there is Alex Palou and the fact that he was supposed to go to a different team, and he ended up not going to that team. He was supposed to go to McLaren, which would have been really cool, but it probably wouldn't have been the best for Alex Palou. So he decided not to go. He had already signed contracts, and it just got messy, and now it's getting worse. That's another big thing, but that's not as big of a deal as the NASCAR thing, at least in the long run. So there's always been issues between drivers and teams and drivers and that sort of thing, but nothing between the teams and the sanctioning body as bad as it's been between NASCAR and 2311 in front row.
Yeah. Well, if you had to guess right now, what do you think the outcome will be?
Right now, with all the information that's come out lately, I think that NASCAR will prevail, and both the front row motorsports and 2311 will lose their charters. And they might be forced to step back. 2311 won't be as big of a setback because they do have the money. They have Jordan, as long as Michael Jordan is committed to the sport. But as soon as Michael Jordan realizes that it's not the best thing, he'll step back too, and then that wouldn't be good. But that's why I think right now that NASCAR has an edge. But we'll see how it goes. There's the thing's not over yet. The teams have really good attorneys, and they have a good point about the issue with the value of the charters and the fact that the charter system is not the best thing necessarily for the sport. So all depends on how the judge rules and how the evidence plays out in the end.
Do you think the judge is a NASCAR fan?
Probably not. You never know, but I don't think so. I think that they really tried really hard to get somebody who's impartial, somebody really who may not even be a person who follows any sort of sports. So it's gonna be something. Well, hopefully you all have a really great holiday. We will be on the air a few days before actually we'll be on the air the 30th this next episode of the show, so it'll be the day before Halloween. So it should be a really good time. Hopefully you have a chance to head out to your local haunted attraction. If not, you're missing out. If you can, please go support them. They're a lot of them are really small town guys, and even the ones who are bigger time attractions, they employ a lot of really cool, dedicated people, and so you'll have a great time. I recommend it. Be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder by visiting facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Listen to previous episodes of the show at thursdaynightthunderpodcast.podbean.com. You can also find us on Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Boomplay, Spotify, Player FM, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/revorplums or wherever you can find your favorite podcast. I also invite you to check out the latest news and information about motorsports at my motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com site. I posted a bunch of stuff the other day about that, about schedules and some information about upcoming races, so be sure to check that out. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our Slice of Paradise at my travel blog for Roy Plum's Fantastic Finds, which can be found on Facebook, on Twitter, now X, at PB Happening, the easiest way to look for it there, and by heading to Favorplums Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com. That's FABORPLUMBS Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again in a few weeks in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Have a great time. Have a great night. Thanks again.